The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
For us to come home in front of our family, fans, Raider Nation, the Black home.
Raiders! Raiders! Goddamn right.
What is up, Raider Nation? This is the Just Raiders Baby podcast. I am your host, I am Jay Raider. And on this show, we are talking Raiders versus Rams, Week 7. We are talking AOC. We're talking Gardner Minshew. We're talking Raider news and developments from the week. But before we get into it, make sure that you like and subscribe to this podcast. Hit that like button down below. Help us support this show. Keep it going. Keep it strong. And hit that like button. All right, y'all. Before we get into the Raiders' performance on Sunday, there was some news that came out on Tuesday from Maxx Crosby. So he had finally stepped up and cleared the rumors of this whole trade talk bullshit that's been going on the last couple of weeks. And he came out on his show, The Rush. If you haven't seen it, make sure you tune in. And has said, I want to be silver and black. I'm going to say it out loud. I want to be a Raider. I don't want to go anywhere else. Take a look at the clip yourself.
I feel like, I got to address it with my teammates. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not trying to leave. You know what I mean? I know it's a business. You know what I mean? I don't have 100% control, all that, but I want to be here. I want to be silver and black. I'll say it loud and clear. I want to be a Raider. I've said that over and over and over again. But yeah, it's business part of it too. Like I don't have 100% control of that, but I know at the end of the day, like just seeing all the craziness, like it's been insane. You know what I mean? Like I can't even open my phone. Every 2 seconds it's Lions fans, Lions fans, Lions fans, Falcons fans, Bears fans. It's me in an edit in a different jersey, and I'm like, what the is this turned into? And then I make one comment in the press conference last week, and then that's when it even like went even crazier. Yeah. And I wasn't trying to say anything. I was literally just saying like, yeah, all I'm trying to do is win. Like I don't care where I'm at. I don't care what I'm speaking like. I don't give a fuck where I'm at. If I'm in a basketball game of pig, I'm trying to win that motherfucker. Like that's how I am. You know what I mean? And I won the last game, so don't play with me.
It had to take that much for him to come out and actually say that he doesn't want to go and play for any other team. He doesn't want to go and play for the Lions. He doesn't want to go play for any other fucking team that some delusional fans have been talking, saying that he should come over to their team. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it ain't going to happen. Maxx Crosby is a Raider and will be a Raider for a very long time. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get into Raiders versus Rams. This game was a horrible game, to say the least. The final score was 20-15. If you guys didn't check it out, you guys didn't watch it, you didn't miss much. Okay. Raiders started their opening drive pretty slow. Same old as usual. It took about the second drive for them to put something together where they were able to go ahead and pull off a field goal, and they took the lead 3-0. During the following drive, somehow AOC gets hurt, and I'll go into it a little bit later on in the show. But AOC gets hurt, finishes his drive out, but after that, he is seen going into the locker room. And then we never saw him again. So, once that happened, you know what time it was. Gardner Minshew. So Gardner Minshew comes in, and literally on his drive, on his opening drive, after first reception he threw an interception. He got pressured in the pocket, had scrambled. I don't know whether he was trying to throw the ball away or try to hit his man down the field, and was way fucking short, got picked off, and Rams were able to go ahead and get set up with great field position in their own red zone. 3 or 4 plays later, Rams go in and take it to the house and score. We're down 7-3 at that point. And then on the following series, right after he threw that interception, Gardner Minshew goes out, gets pressured again, gets hit from behind, and fumbles the ball. Rams pick it up, take it to the house again. We're down 14-3, and it's looking like a shit show at that point. End up getting about 2 more field goals before the half ended, and so we look better as far as on a score standpoint. We were still within reach, but offensively, we weren't able to put anything together in that first half. In that second half, it wasn't any better at all. Gardner Minshew throws another interception. Again, same thing. Rams drive down the field and end up scoring another touchdown. We're down 20-9 at that point. We're able to go ahead and again get into field goal position and hit another field goal to make it 20-12. And then we finally get our rhythm going, finally start putting plays together, getting the run game going a little bit. We take it down to the 10-yard line and we make two attempts to try to put it in the end zone. One of them was a throwaway pass. And we're ready to go for it on 4th and goal from the 10. And then we get a false start penalty on us. And then we get pushed back 5 yards. So logically, you would think, okay, we got that penalty. We're still going to go for it. We're down 8 points, literally one score. And we kick a field goal. AP and Getsy decided to go ahead and kick a field goal instead of going for it on 4th and goal. That to me shows that they do not have any confidence in that offense. They don't have any confidence in Gardner Minshew, and I don't blame them. Having done 3 turnovers in the game so far and really relying on their defense to bail them out, which they did. They did bail them out towards the end, but again, Gardner Minshew not putting anything together, and we end up losing that game. 20-15 is your final score. All 15 Raider points were by field goals. We had no touchdowns in that game. This is the first game of all year long that we have not had touchdowns. The offense just looked weak and lost throughout the whole game. The run game did get started, but it couldn't really stay consistent. And then the offense just looked way predictable, especially putting the run game together. Even the announcers, the CBS announcers mentioned it. It just looked way too predictable. I mean, the Rams knew we were going to run. It didn't take too much effort to go ahead and try to stop the run because they knew they were coming. I don't see this offense getting any better. Things might change. There has been something that did happen this week that may or may not impact that offense for the better. And I'll go into it a little bit later in the show. But we were not able to put up really any solid points aside from those field goals in the whole game. That game was up for grabs, totally winnable. We handed all the points to the Rams. The Rams really did not put anything together offensively because they were set up in great field position through those turnovers. So I have a new segment called Walk the Plank. And our first candidate walking the plank is none other than the defensive MVP for the game, Gardner Minshew. This is Walk the Plank.
He walks the plank. The plank!
All right. Gardner Minshew walking the plank. 3 interceptions for 3 touchdowns. He looks lost and confused out there. And you can see it by the expression on his face. He has no confidence. Obviously, he has no inability to create plays at the moment, and I don't see his style of play changing over the next few weeks. And obviously, he hasn't been consistent all year long. But this game was literally lost by his hand. So, Gardner Minshew, you walked the plank. All right. So let's talk about AOC. AOC in this game gets hurt in the first quarter. The prognosis is that he has suffered a broken thumb and he's going to be out minimum 4 weeks, max about 6 weeks, and has been officially placed on IR. So AOC is out. But Raiders make a daring move on Tuesday also, and Raiders go out and sign themselves a kid from the Arizona Cardinals practice squad, Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder was the backup in Atlanta last year, and he is, or was, I should say, on the Arizona Cardinals practice squad since the beginning of the season. But he did go 13-1 for the University of Cincinnati and actually ended up 8th in the Heisman running back in 2021. I did see some highlights on him. The kid could run. He has some legs on him, but he had 12 touchdowns for 12 turnovers in his time in Atlanta. So don't get too excited about him. I'm going to be honest with you. This is just basically a patch that the Raiders are doing here because of O'Connell being out. They need to have another quarterback available. Yes, we do have Carter Bradley, but he is a rookie. And it looks like the Raiders front office doesn't have too much confidence in him quite yet to bring him in. But obviously, push comes to shove. If they need a quarterback, they'll put in Carter Bradley. But that will take a lot. But by signing Ritter, what this will do is actually create a new quarterback battle. And for the time being, obviously, this move happened this week. So I don't see Ritter starting on Sunday. But hey, stranger shit has happened. And it's been a fucking crazy year. So you never know. But as of now, Minshew is going to stay at quarterback one. And because we picked up Ritter from the practice squad, NFL regulations state that you have to go ahead and put that player on your active roster. So now Ritter is QB2. Bradley's going to stay on the practice squad. But as the weeks progress, Ritter might possibly beat out Minshew. It might even happen sooner than you think. Just depends how Minshew plays over this game and the following game. If he has the same performance he did on that Rams game, his ass is going to be on the bench. Because there's one thing about losing and playing hard and basically being beaten by a better team, not losing because we beat ourselves, because we made mistakes. So the Raiders are not going to have that. It was an embarrassment on Sunday for a game that should have been won. So if Minshew plays the way he continues to play, he's not going to see much action. I don't care if the guy is getting paid $15 million. They're going to sit his ass on the bench. And think about this. I'm gonna tell you guys something right now. We paid $15 million to throw interceptions. I'm going to let that sink in. We paid $15 million to throw interceptions. I don't know. But we got this new guy, Ritter. Tell me what you guys think. Put it on the comment box. But obviously, my take on this is that this is just a patch. Don't get excited about this guy. I don't see him doing big things. But hey, I can always be wrong. This is the NFL. Crazy shit has happened. Dudes have walked onto a team and fucking blown up. And if that's the case, I'm not going to be mad about that. But now you're probably saying, well, why the fuck did they sign this guy? Why don't we go out to get a Ryan Tannehill or somebody else of that caliber, right? For the simple fact that they didn't want to pay Tannehill. Tannehill's too expensive. Obviously, the way we've been performing, it's not very attractive to come on to this team right now. So if we wanted Tannehill to come in, we would have had to pay a pretty hefty price to bring him on board. And I don't think the Raiders were ready to do that. So this is what it is. Desmond Ridder is just a temporary plug until AOC comes back. And now if Ridder goes out and balls out and AOC is healthy, then you have a dilemma right there. So what do you do? Obviously, if Gardner Minshew is playing like shit, then do you put him down to the practice squad? Do you put AOC down to the practice squad? If you do that, another team might be able to come by and snatch him up. So that's the dilemma that the Raiders might possibly be in if AOC comes back. And we'll see what kind of moves they do. But as of now, Gardner Minshew, QB1, Desmond Ridder, QB2. So, pressure that was done on Monday by AP, and there was a big thing here. Obviously, a lot of us Raider fans have been talking about this. I'm talking about tanking the season to get up on the draft order, right? And this is a chatter that's been going on, I believe, since like week 4 or 5. And so this rumors or whatever that eventually is getting back to Antonio Pierce, or he's just going through social media and seeing these comments being made, obviously. But he did address that, and he did say on Monday, we are not tanking. I'm going to show y'all the clip.
I'll be honest, I didn't expect to be 2-5, like to see that flipped. But at the end of the day, you got to live in reality, and that's what we're dealing with. Again, like I said, a lot of the leagues dealing with the same stuff, man. Injuries, turnovers, just being inconsistent. All of us can get better, myself included. And I think as we keep going through this, there's still a lot of football left. The season's not over. We're not tanking. We're not trying to lose games to do anything better for the future.
One thing he's saying that is we're going to continue to work on getting better. We're still going to work on trying to win games. Now, I am not a believer in tanking. I get the reasoning behind it. 100% I get it. But I don't believe we should tank. Now, there's arguments back and forth that are said, well, what does winning 8-9 games do for you? Okay. It's ending the season with some dignity. Ending the season, 4-13, 5-12, 6-11. It just validates the already reputation that we have of a losing organization. But it gets you up on the draft order. for the next draft class, right? But you are still able to get to that point in the draft order by trading up. And sometimes people forget that. But there's arguments to that too, right? What are you going to give up to get up into that draft order? Obviously, in order for us to be able to go ahead and get a pretty elite quarterback, we need to be top 3. You maybe can get by if you're top 5, but you can potentially have another team snatch up your pick, right? Especially if you're trying to draft Shadur Sanders or Cam Ward. And it's all based on every team's need, right? Not every team is going to need a quarterback, but it just depends how the season ends and where everybody's at. Right now, Carolina and I believe Cincinnati are probably one of the lowest ones. So, does Carolina go after another quarterback? I mean, they got Bryce Young, but he's not working out. They got Andy Dalton, but aside from the game that he beat our ass in, he really hasn't done much to really bolster up their team. So, what do? Are they going to go out and get another quarterback and let go of Bryce Young? And see, that's that decision that they're going to have to make. But usually that decision is made towards the end of the year. So, as the season progresses and as the teams go throughout their games and how they perform, they evaluate what their needs are going to be, right? Well, we know what our needs is right off the bat. We need a fucking quarterback like yesterday. But there are other teams in different situations that might not need the same thing. So it's just kind of where everybody ends. Where are they going to be in that draft order? And then we can see who we can go ahead and trade up with, right? We don't know 100% what the behind the scenes were for this past draft, while we weren't aggressive enough to be able to get another team to trade with us. Maybe we didn't want to give up certain concessions to make that move. But in this draft, we need to be aggressive. We need to go all in. If you're serious about drafting a quarterback, you need to go all in. That's just the bottom line. You want number 1, number 2, number 3 spot. You need to be aggressive if you're down to 8, 9, or 10 spot in the draft. Because if you stay there and try to cross your fingers and see if you can go ahead and get a Shadur, it's not gonna fucking happen. You're gonna try to see if you can get a Cam Ward, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna try to see if you get a Ewers, it's not gonna happen. They're gonna get snatched up. So you have to go aggressive. So this whole thing about tanking and whatnot, it's a false stigma because you can play hard, you can go ahead and get up in the draft. Now, obviously, I'm realistic. Don't see the Raiders making the playoffs this year, though I did have high hopes, just like almost anybody out there. But, as in this point in the season, based on the gameplay, we're not making the playoffs. Potential's there, obviously, because there are teams that are not doing great either, and there's a lot of injuries that a lot of teams are suffering right now. So the records are lower than what they usually would be. So there is an opportunity, but realistically, with this offensive coordinator, with this quarterback that we currently have in Gardner Minshew, we're not going to get it done. We're not going to get it done to make a run at the playoffs. But you want to go out there and play hard. You want to go out there and play for pride. Obviously, you're going to say people are going to disagree with me and say, well, pride's not going to get you a fucking quarterback. It still can. I do believe that. So I am on that side of the argument about this, but yes, AP said we're not tanking. So with that being said, obviously we still got 10 more games left in the season. It's still a good amount of football. And that's why it would be a reason why you wouldn't want to tank the season, because there's still a lot of games to be played. Anything can happen. But looking towards the immediate future, we do have the Chiefs coming up this Sunday at Allegiant Stadium. So let's get into that. And again, and if you are watching, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. Help me support this podcast. If you like my content, definitely hit that like button. But let's talk Chiefs versus Raiders this Sunday in Allegiant Stadium. All right. So looking into this game, we are obviously not probable of winning this game, but we still have the chance to at least stay competitive in this game. And the Chiefs, though they are undefeated, they haven't been playing the greatest as years past. They are also dealing with certain injuries as well, that has kind of skewed their performance a bit. But no doubt we're probably going to get our asses handed. So it is what it is. But if we were able to stay competitive in the game, we might have a shot, and it would be fucking hilarious if we gave the Chiefs their first loss. And I would not talk that down for a very long time. So the keys here, obviously, this game has to be a defensive game. It has to be a very similar game to the one on Christmas Eve. It has to be a low scoring game. But more importantly, we have to create turnovers defensively. Get that ball back, try to see if we can get pick six. Because offensively, we're not going to get it done. And if Gardner Minshew has the same game that he did on Sunday, it's definitely not going to happen. So it has to be done on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, on the offense, we have to go ahead and limit turnovers to one or less. If we're having 2, 3, 4 turnovers, we're going to get blown out. We're already looking to get blown out, but we don't want to help the Chiefs do that, obviously. Doing it defensively, it is going to put a wear and tear on that defense. They are going to be out there for a very long time, and making the proper substitutions to keep certain players fresh is going to be key here. And I would say also having Maxx maybe rotate a snap or two out there as well. But biggest thing here is obviously Maxx doing his thing, going out there, putting pressure on Mahomes, and getting to him and start talking that shit, getting in his mind, and having him think about those passes, having him get annoyed and frustrated. That's going to interrupt his game and give us a fair shot of possibly stealing one from them. It's a tall order. I'm not going to lie to you. Will that happen? I don't know. Might not happen. So don't hold your breath. But from my point of view, from looking at this game analytically, this is what we have to do in order for us to pull out a possible dub, or at least stay competitive in the game. These rivalry games are a different thing. Let me tell you guys right now. You know, it's not like playing the fucking Bengals or like the Falcons where you play them once every other year or some shit like that. When you're facing a division rival, you're playing them twice a year, and especially like a team like the Chiefs, where there's such bad blood, there's such hatred. Maybe I'm over exaggerating on the hatred part, but it fucking seems like it. Where there's a lot of animosity between both teams, you go out and you play your heart out in that game. And trust me, the fucking Chiefs are going to try to bring it. Because we've been talking some shit from the beginning of the season. They got that loss at their house last year, and they're going to try to get that back. So they're going to try to fucking come at us quick, hard, and fast. Sounds like a fucking crazy ass Saturday night. That's going to be Sunday afternoon. But that is a game that you're going to expect. It's going to be it's going to go two ways. It's either going to be a blowout and we get our fucking asses handed to us and we're going to look like a fucking shit show again, or it's going to be a close game, competitive game, defensive game where we're creating turnovers and we just have difficulty converting those turnovers. If we're able to get a defensive score, that's going to go a long way on a low scoring game. So, I'm going to give you guys two scores. These two scores is one's going to be a blowout, the other one's going to be a close competitive game. Okay? So, if we're going to get blown out, it's going to be like a 35 to like 12 type score. And we're going to hit a bunch of field goals and not be able to score a fucking touchdown again. If it's a close competitive game, then you're looking at a score where we might pull off a win like a 14-13, 13-10 type score. I don't see us putting up more than 15 points in this game just based on the last couple of games. So it's going to stay in the teens. Maybe lower than that. I mean, fuck, we lost last year 3-0 to the Vikings. So anything can fucking happen. But also remember, Chiefs could lose any given Sunday. This is the NFL. Shit happens. And so we might be able to pull off a win. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Okay. Would it be highly unlikely? Probably so. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. So it's either going to be 14-13 Raiders or 13-10 Raiders. We win it in a field goal. So, Daniel Carson, make sure you come up clutch on Sunday. Keep that leg on ice because I have a feeling we're going to need it. But that is my prediction for Chiefs versus Raiders. Chiefs went out this week and got themselves DeAndre Hopkins from the Tennessee Titans. And I think this was a bold move because they are worried about us. Though we fucking suck like shit. They are worried about us. So, that goes to tell you. Plus, they do need a receiver. Valdez is injured. And Rashid Rice is injured too. So, you have a couple of guys out for them. So, yeah, they do need another receiver. But doing it at this point in the season, right before they play the Raiders, tells you that they're a little nervous. So let's see what happens on Sunday. But um, yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. Keep supporting this podcast. Really quick before we sign off here. If you are interested in starting your own podcast or ever wondered, hey, I think I might start a podcast. I just don't know how to fucking do it. Check out riverside.fm, riverside.fm, your place for podcasting. Go in my link, try it out before you commit to it. Totally free. Put out some podcasts, play with it, and I know you'll like it because I do. I've been doing this for a month now, a month plus on Riverside, and I could do so much stuff. I'm able to put out podcasts like these in 4K. Other platforms, you have to go ahead and either pay an extraordinary amount of money or they just don't have that capability of putting out in 4K. And 4K doesn't make the difference in sound and in the visual aspect where you can see a crisp image of the person that you are watching, like me. So check out riverside.fm. Go on my link, click on riverside.fm, try it out totally free. And of course, check me out on my socials, Instagram and on Twitter, aka X, at JRaider underscore 505. That's JRaider underscore 505. And then, as always, make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast. I'm on here every week. Win, lose, draw, whatever the fuck. We're 2-15. I don't give a fuck. I'll be on here every week talking about the Raiders, talking about the Raider news, Raiders future, Raiders performance. Even if we're god awful terrible, I'll still be on this motherfucker talking Raiders. But make sure you guys support. I expect to be out to Vegas and also do a podcast in Vegas. Most likely in either next month for the Broncos game, or I'm looking towards either the Jaguars or maybe Chargers. Just depends. I'll be in LA next week, so I don't know. Might make an appearance at the World Series. That is on the bucket list. I've been to a division game for the Dodgers. I've been to an LCS for Dodgers, but never been to a World Series. When they won the World Series in 2020, obviously it was COVID. Couldn't do anything. But my trip to LA for my 40th birthday coincides with the World Series, and actually it'll be game 6 and 7 will be going on while I am back home. So the only kicker is these tickets are starting at $1,300 and up. I don't know if I'm ready to make that type of commitment. Shit. That's a fucking mortgage payment. So I might skip my mortgage payment to go to a fucking Dodger game. I'm just kidding. Maybe. We'll see what happens. But on Dodger news, I'm a big Dodgers fan, as well as I'm a Raider fan, Laker fan, Kings fan. I am from LA, so I like all my LA teams, but there was some sad news that happened on Wednesday night. Fernando Valenzuela, if you guys don't know who he is, look him up on YouTube. Look at the highlights. For those Dodger fans that are watching, you know who I'm talking about. Fernando Valenzuela, aka El Toro, has passed away at the age of 63. He is a Dodger legend. He was with the Dodgers from 1980 to about 92. And he played in the World Series, both World Series. And he is one of the most notable Mexican pitchers that played the game. And so he's made an impact not only in the Hispanic community, but in the Dodger world in general, and ripples across Major League Baseball. But Fernando Valenzuela is no longer with us. Rest in peace. Big reason why I am a Dodger fan is because of that man. So it hits home a little bit more than just hearing anybody else, pass away. But he will be missed, and hopefully the Dodgers can go out there and win it for Fernando and do it for Fernando. So rest in peace, Fernando Valenzuela, aka El Toro. Hope you'll be watching from above. But that is it, y'all. Thank you again for tuning in. Catch me on my next episode. And I will be doing the review for the post game for Chiefs versus Raiders. And I will do a new podcast. I have a new podcast in the works as well. JRB Limited is a podcast that is 15 minutes or less. It's just me ranting about the game, whatever game it is, or whatever news is out. It's a short podcast, 15 minutes or less, and just talking shit. JRB Limited. I will still be doing live podcasts, and that will be JRB Live. And I'll have special guests when I'm doing those as well. And also my main podcast, Just Raiders Baby. Be on the lookout for those. I will post them, and those won't come as regularly as my weekly show, but I wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that I will be posting content like that you guys go ahead and kind of check out. So again, thank you guys for joining in, and always remember, Just Raiders Baby.